Chapter 1 3 Choices. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tianxian Continent, Dragon Valley. Big red lanterns were hung on the towering trees, and guests were everywhere, creating a peaceful and lively scene. Today is the wedding day of the Dragon Princess. On the high platform, the elder who presided over the wedding was chattering. There were countless dragon youths in the audience secretly wiping away tears. In the eyes, there is a light of hope. The eldest sister finally got married. Yeah, I'm finally married. I don't know how long it will take for my tail to grow back. Hey, let's be nice to that human kid from now on. If he can't stand the stimulation and commits suicide, then we will be in trouble. Mother Dragon? Or a Tyrannosaurus? I really want to marry a dragon. That at this moment, deep in the Dragon Valley, in a huge room, Jiang Xiaobai was staring at himself in the mirror, cursing in his mouth. He's quite handsome, I almost want to have sex with him, but... I've seen people who time travel, but I've never seen someone help an old lady cross the road and be struck to death by lightning. If he hadn't been too weak to defeat the bunch of dragon men outside, Jiang Xiaobai could have cursed at the top of his lungs for 3 days and 3 nights. As a promising young man in the 21st century, well, young man, we must practice martial ethics. Prince-in-law, the auspicious day has arrived. It's time to go and marry the princess. At this moment, the maid's voice came from outside the door, and Jiang Xiaobai instantly fainted. It's over, we're getting married. What to do? Otherwise, accept it. But when he thought about the night when the Tyrannosaurus went berserk and accidentally slapped himself to death, Jiang Xiaobai shrank in fear. Mr. Your Highness the Princess. The maid outside the door exclaimed, and Jiang Xiaobai's hair stood on end. The Jade Emperor? Grandpa? Goldfinger? System Daddy? However, there was no response at all, and Jiang Xiaobai despaired. The door had been pushed open, and a figure appeared in front of him. The terrifying body and ferocious face he imagined did not appear. She was wearing a snow-white dress, with arms like mutton-fat white jade, a tall nose, bright eyes and white teeth, as if she had stepped out of a painting. You don't want to marry me? The woman's lips parted slightly, and her voice was like a spring breeze, but her brows were slightly furrowed, and an invisible majesty pressed down on Jiang Xiaobai's chest. Ding! I feel the host's sincere call, and the God-level selection system has been activated. Choice 1, promise her and reward her with dragon essence and tiger bone pill. Option 2, reject her and reward her with demigod-level cultivation. Choice 3, forcefully kiss her and be rewarded with an innate Taoist body and God-level skills. Jiang Xiaobai's eyes widened. The sky has eyes, it has eyes. At this time, Jiang Xiaobai could no longer care about the excitement of getting the system, and focused all his attention on the 3 multiple-choice questions. Judging by years of experience, the first option just clicked. If nothing else, he has backbone. The second one. Well, if you refuse, you might die. The main reason is that Jiang Xiaobai doesn't know whether the reward given by the system will be reached immediately. Finally, Jiang Xiaobai looked up at the dragon princess in front of him. The woman raised her eyebrows slightly. Obviously she didn't expect Jiang Xiaobai to dare to look directly at her, let alone a mere human being. Which young man in the dragon clan would dare to do this? Even the bravest of dogs and bears would not dare to do this. Humans, don't be ignorant. The woman snorted coldly. I'll give you one last chance, you. Before she could finish her words, Jiang Xiaobai suddenly rushed forward. After all, she is immortal, why should she worry? However, something happened that no one expected. Jiang Xiaobai rushed forward, hugged her, and took a sip. Boom. Click. Oh shit! Jiang Xiaobai's body smashed through the wall like a cannonball and flew into the courtyard. In the room, Yan's face was red with shame and his expression was furious. She was scorned by a human being. Although it was just a glimpse of the water, I didn't hesitate to touch it. This is a shame, a great shame. Not to mention humans, even the best young people in the dragon clan cannot get closer than 3 meters to her. Human, you are seeking death. The dragon's power was mighty, and its terrifying aura instantly enveloped everything around it. Jiang Xiaobai covered his chest and rolled his eyes. 3 seconds ago he decisively chose the last option. In Jiang Xiaobai's opinion, it was the wedding day after all, so the other party would not kill someone for the sake of face, but things seem to be a little different now. I don't want to die yet. Do I have to die twice in one day? Jiang Xiaobai was a little confused. He is probably the most embarrassing one among many time travelers. Just when the violent aura was about to kill Jiang Xiaobai, the surroundings suddenly became calm. Yenner, don't mess around. An old voice came. Then, an old man with a white beard appeared in the yard. The old man glanced at Jiang Xiaobai lying on the ground, his eyes showing no emotion at all. Jiang Xiaobai only felt that his personality had been insulted. Today is your wedding, and all the tribes are here. If you kill your consort, how will the dragon clan lose face? Ao Yen trembled all over, and scarlet violence flashed in his eyes. Grandpa, As soon as he opened his mouth, Ao Yen didn't dare to say anything, because it would be embarrassing to tell this. In the end, for the sake of the overall situation, Ao Yen could only pinch his nose and hold back. Okay, the auspicious time is coming. Please serve the prince-in-law to change clothes immediately. The old man said calmly, then shook his head and walked out. At the end of the day, Jiang Xiaobai seemed to hear words like I'm looking for death and I'll have another one tomorrow. Obviously the old man knew what happened before, however, because of Ao Yan's face, he didn't speak. Human, you are fine. Ao Yan looked at Jiang Xiaobai with a smile. I have to say that this woman is truly beautiful and charming, and is very captivating, but Jiang Xiaobai didn't know why, but he always felt anxious. Son-in-law, it's time to change. A maid tremblingly helped Jiang Xiaobai up. Go inside and start changing. Jiang Xiaobai was pressed on the chair, and more than a dozen maids were busy around him. This feeling is very strange, but after taking a look at the information in the system, Jiang Xiaobai smiled, very wildly. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the innate Tao body. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the God-level skill, 9 transformations mysterious skill. Jiang Xiaobai's smile gradually became abnormal. 9 transformations mysterious technique. Cooperate with the innate Taoist body, invincible. In fact, the rewards from the system were already distributed the moment Jiang Xiaobai met Ao Yen. Otherwise, Jiang Xiaobai would probably die tragically on the spot if he was shocked by Ao Yen's spiritual power. The time has come. Sharp shouts came from outside the hospital. At this time, Jiang Xiaobai had already put on a bright red robe, and looked elegant in the bronze mirror. Tianxian continent, right? The promising young man Jiang Xiaobai is about to rebel against heaven. Jiang Xiaobai chuckled, but his expression soon changed. Hey, what are you doing? Is there any mistake? I also need to put on this hijab. With Jiang Xiaobai's face full of shame, the 2 maids directly put the hijab on his head. On an auspicious day, Dragon Girl gets married, and all races come to congratulate her. The time has come. Princess please, consort. Chapter 2 Fighting to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Following the maid, Jiang Xiaobai covered his head and walked out of the yard. He was very helpless. There are all kinds of lively sounds around, which can be called the roar of gongs and drums, and the blast of firecrackers. It sounds very lively. Jiang Xiaobai couldn't help but be curious and wanted to see what was going on outside. However, the hijab was too tight and I couldn't see anything. If it weren't for the help of maids on both sides, Jiang Xiaobai felt that he would fall to his death on the road sooner or later. Congratulations to the host for trigger selection. Choice 1. Bear the humiliation and bear the burden, not take off the hijab, and be rewarded with an immortal elixir. Option 2. Challenge the bottom line, take off the hijab, and be rewarded with 100 years of cultivation in place, achieving the great perfection of foundation building. Reminder, the realms are divided into Qi training, foundation building, golden elixir, yuanying, out-of-body, distraction, integration, transcending tribulations, Mahayana, and divided into 3 small realms, front, middle and back, and a hidden 4th realm, Dzogchen. Jiang Xiaobai felt happy. This special Miao still has a choice, of course, take off the hijab. Now that he has an innate Taoist body, wouldn't it be a waste if he has no cultivation? And this state of Dzogchen is not simple at all. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai reached out and pulled off the hijab, the air suddenly became much fresher, everything around him came into view, and Jiang Xiaobai felt extremely shocked. In the sky, hundreds of giant dragons flew across the sky. Turning his head, Jiang Xiaobai found himself at the top of a hill. There is a sea of red for dozens of miles around. Surely Hongzhuang is nothing more than that. Countless monsters and monks of all kinds gathered together, the number is probably hundreds of thousands, or even more. It's true that thousands of people are here to congratulate you. The spectacle is so spectacular that it cannot be described in words. This was the first time in Jiang Xiaobai's life that he had seen such a big scene. He was so shocked that he couldn't walk for a while. Consort. How could you take off your hijab? That the maid was anxious. This and this have not reached the final stage. How can we take off the hijab? More than a dozen maids immediately wanted to take the hijab back to Jiang Xiaobai, but is it possible? The centenary cultivation level rewarded by the system was immediately credited to Jiang Xiaobai's account the moment he lifted his hijab, no delay at all. Jiang Xiaobai's strength grew explosively, from no cultivation, to Qi training period, the middle stage of Qi training. Late stage of Qi training. Qi training is perfect. Breakthrough. Foundation building period. Not only that, his cultivation level is still rising rapidly. In the end, he stayed in the realm of foundation building perfection. Hundreds of years of cultivation, coupled with the innate Tao body, is so terrifying. Even a gifted genius can't go from an ordinary person to a late-stage foundation establishment in 100 years. Even monks with weak spiritual roots may not even be able to break through the Qi refining stage. At most, it's the late stage of Qi training. Not to mention, his current foundation building Dzogchen cultivation. Jiang Xiaobai only felt that his body was full of power. With his own cultivation, he casually shattered the hijab in his hand. This scene made the maids look stupid. It doesn't matter, continue. An old voice came. It was Ao Yan's grandfather, Ao Zhenbei. At this time, Ao Zhenbei looked at Jiang Xiaobai with eyes full of surprise. He could clearly see the changes in Jiang Xiaobai's body and was puzzled, but this was obviously not the time to ask questions. The team continued to move forward. After walking a few steps, Jiang Xiaobai saw a huge red platform appearing in front of them. The wedding place has arrived. The eyes of hundreds of thousands of people were on Jiang Xiaobai. He is really immortal. TSK, 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 it's really a strange thing in the world for a mortal to marry a dragon princess. It is said that this guy was caught by the dragon princess outside. Discussions continued and the scene was extremely noisy. From the expressions of the dragon youths at the front, Jiang Xiaobai could tell that they were still very happy, although Jiang Xiaobai didn't understand why these guys were so happy. Be reasonable, I'm just a mortal. I stole your goddess, why don't you show me some respect? Jiang Xiaobai was puzzled. Among the crowd, there was a pair of gloomy eyes staring at Jiang Xiaobai. The man's face was ashen and his fists were clenched. His body exuded the aura of keeping strangers away. Boy, I hope you survive tonight. Ao Tianheng snorted in his heart. However, Jiang Xiaobai naturally didn't know about this scene. At this time, he was standing alone on the high platform in embarrassment. As the protagonist of this unprecedented grand wedding, Ao Yan has not even arrived yet. Jiang Xiaobai frowned as he waited for no one to come. Although he was robbed by force, at least he should be given some face. Ha ha ha, this silly boy. I just said this guy is a clown. Looking at him like that, he probably won't survive tonight. There were many people talking. Jiang Xiaobai scanned the crowd and found that except for a few people who paid little attention to him, the rest seemed to be watching his excitement. Congratulations to the host for triggering the selection. Choice 1, swallow your anger, ignore it, and be rewarded with a magical skill. Choice 2, be kind to others, build good relationships, and be rewarded with alchemy skills. Choice 3, fight to death and be rewarded with a 9-turn golden pill. Hearing the beautiful voice in his mind, Jiang Xiaobai made his choice in less than 3 seconds. He couldn't stand the sarcasm and ridicule that filled the sky. A meaningful smile suddenly appeared on his face. Then I'm calling you. Suddenly, there was a roar, which stunned everyone around him. Look at how sore you all are. Jiang Xiaobai sneered, why, the grapes are sour when you can't eat them. It's not you who is emotionally married to the princess. Are you unhappy? As soon as this statement came out, the whole place was in an uproar. The maids and guards standing around the wedding stage all looked at Jiang Xiaobai in disbelief, and those who attended the wedding couldn't believe their ears. You're just a mortal, who gave you the courage to speak to me like this? A strong man sitting near the front suddenly stood up, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. This person's name is Qixing Demon Lord, and his strength is in the late stage of Jindan. That is the realm above foundation building, the rank of the Golden Elixir Masters. TCH, you are allowed to say it, but I am not allowed to say it. Jiang Xiaobai was not afraid at all. You are shameless, old man. I just want to ask you a question. Are you unhappy that I am marrying the princess? You. Demon Lord Qixing choked at these words. Dare he say he's unhappy? The dragon clan himself didn't say anything, so how dare he come out and make rash comments? Are you speechless? Don't think I don't know. You were the one who laughed the most at me just now. Since you don't speak, it means you have no objection to the wedding. Then you still dare to speak sarcastically. What, do you dislike me or the princess? Jiang Xiaobai sneered, and how had the demon Lord Qixing ever suffered such humiliation? At that moment, he said with a murderous look on his face, of course I look down on you, a loser. Even a mere mortal is qualified. Wait, Jiang Xiaobai suddenly raised his hand to interrupt. You said you don't like me, right? That's natural. Demon Lord Qixing snorted coldly. I am the consort appointed by the Dragon Princess. Long Gu doesn't even look down on me. Who do you think you are? Are you even better than Long Gu? Jiang Xiaobai chuckled. As soon as these words came out, Qixing Danzuan was dumbfounded. What a big hat to put on your head. You fart, why did I ever say this? Demon Lord Qixing shouted immediately. Jiang Xiaobai's face was full of sarcasm. Do you really think everyone is deaf? You are really powerful. You despise the Dragon Clan in front of all the clans in the Dragon Valley. TSK, 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 have you figured out how to die? Chapter 3 What can I do if I am proud? You are listening at novelfull.audio. For a moment, there was an uproar in Longgu. Wanzu was shocked. Why would a mortal dare to be so arrogant? But unlike the 10,000 clan, the Dragon Clan's eyes were wrong. They looked at Demon Lord Qixing, with an indescribable meaning in their eyes. Demon Lord Qixing panicked. Only then did he realize that Jiang Xiaobai had set a trap for him. You little bastard, how dare you play a conspiracy? Demon Lord Qixing was trembling with anger. Jiang Xiaobai put his hand against a pillar and leaned lazily on it. He didn't speak, but the provocative look in his eyes was enough to prove everything. Demon Lord Qixing, aren't you going to give me an explanation to the Dragon Clan? A young man from the Dragon Clan looked at the other party coldly. Not just him, there were at least 100 unkind looks around him looking at Demon Lord Qixing. Demon Lord Qixing, who was dominating one side, was now sweating profusely from his forehead. This time he fell into Jiang Xiaobai's hands. Although everyone in the world knew that Jiang Xiaobai was immortal, how could the Dragon Clan not care about what he said before? You must know that the Dragon Clan is an existence that must be punished. Everyone, that's not what I meant just now. Demon Lord Qixing explained hurriedly. Oh, that's not what you mean. Could it be that you don't like the Dragon Clan at all and don't even want to explain? Jiang Xiaobai suddenly spoke. You little bastard, shut up. Demon Lord Qixing scolded angrily. However, everyone in the Dragon Clan could no longer sit still. A dozen figures stood up. Around him, there were at least 100 powerful dragon guards appearing. Obviously, if Demon Lord Qixing doesn't make it clear today, he won't even be able to get out of the Dragon Valley. Demon Lord Qixing was angry, his face was ferocious, and his hands were trembling. Although he has the strength of the late stage of forming pills, he is nothing in front of the Dragon Clan. Dragon Clan members, please calm down. At this time, an old man with an immortal spirit stood up and spoke. Although Demon Lord Qixing is disrespectful to the Dragon Clan, all this is caused by the mortal on the stage. I hope you will understand clearly. Jiang Xiaobai raised his eyebrows. Old man, you really owe me enough. Are you unhappy too? Taoist priest Dong Gu smiled calmly. My little friend, how dare you, an old man. I just don't want there to be any chaos on this special day. These words directly put him on a moral high ground. Jiang Xiaobai's eyes widened. Oh, this old guy doesn't have martial ethics. That's right, kid, don't be too arrogant. You really think you can marry a dragon princess and you are nothing? Who here can't easily crush you to death? That there were various roars all around. At this moment, the system sound sounded again. Congratulations to the host for trigger selection. Option 1, cease fire in time and reward the host with a 10-year setback in cultivation. Option 2, beg for mercy and reward the host for another reincarnation. Choice 3, continue to commit suicide and be rewarded with immediate golden elixir cultivation. Jiang Xiaobai's eyes nearly popped out. Good guy, can the rewards of this system come backwards? I can only choose the last one, okay? System, are you playing with me? It seems that I am about to show my strength as Xuan's liberal arts champion. Jiang Xiaobai cleared his throat and exuded a strange aura. Then what do you think? Bite me if you dare. And you, what are you looking at? Although I have no strength, I am the consort of the Dragon Clan. If I dare to humiliate the consort of the Dragon Clan, you really don't take the Dragon Clan seriously. Just one thing, if anyone has any objections to this marriage, go talk to the Dragon Clan. Call me here. When I conquered Xuan continent, you were still sucking milk from your mother's side. Jiang Xiaobai immediately started to use the skill of verbally quarreling with other scholars. In fact, when he set a trap for Demon Lord Qixing before, Jiang Xiaobai was watching the attitude of the Dragon Clan, but the Dragon Clan doesn't seem to care about this. That's why Jiang Xiaobai dared to be so presumptuous. You bitch, are you willing to challenge me? One of the monks said angrily. It's a joke. You, a monk, are clamoring for a duel with ordinary people. Do you have the nerve to say it? Jiang Xiaobai sneered sarcastically. You might as well just tell the Dragon Clan that you want to kill their prince-in-law. Another person stood up and shouted. Please keep your mouth clean, otherwise, how dare you kill me in front of the Dragon Clan? Jiang Xiaobai sneered. A bunch of eggless trash, you know what's going on. Come on, I'll just stand here and wait. For a time, hundreds of thousands of people were so angry at Jiang Xiaobai that their faces turned red and their heads started to smoke. Then there was chaos on the field, and a shouting match broke out, inside the Dragon Valley ancestral sacrifice. Yenner, do you want to understand? In front of Ao Yen, a beautiful woman was staring at her. Mom, I don't want to be bound by the clan. Ao Yen said slowly. If you go to the wedding stage today, the grievances between the Dragon Clan and the ancient clan will be magnified. The beautiful woman sighed, even if you are the purest disciple of the ancestral dragon bloodline in my clan, you can go up against the ancient clan. Besides, the situation towards you in Longu now is not as good as imagined. Your father, your grandfather, and your great-grandfather are also under a lot of pressure. Ao Yen fell into silence. Her bloodline is the purest among the Dragon Clan, bar none. It is precisely because of this that she is the most powerful among the younger generation. The entire Dragon Clan regarded Ao Yen as a treasure, but again, a strong bloodline will attract the attention of others. The strength of the ancient clan is comparable to that of the Dragon Clan, and they directly proposed to marry the Dragon Clan, but Ao Yen refused. Stubborn and aloof, she never liked being bound by the clan, therefore, she absolutely cannot accept marriage. The strange thing is that after several days of discussion, the Dragon Clan actually agreed to Ao Yan's nonsense. Even if she captures a mortal with no cultivation and gets married, she still agrees, and decided to devote all the family resources to cultivate Ao Yan. In fact, this is also the right approach. Although there will be a price to pay for going against the ancient tribe, in this world where the strong is respected, if you don't have strength, you will die. The Dragon Clan has its own pride, but is this really the case? If it weren't for the support of several big guys from the front, Ao Yen would have been punished long ago if he dared to act so recklessly. Don't even think about marrying a mortal. Mom, give me 3 years. I will destroy the ancient clan with one person. The beautiful woman looked at Ao Yen and finally could only sigh. At this moment, a maid hurriedly walked in. Your Highness, something serious has happened. The prince-in-law and the visitor began to scold each other. Ao Yen frowned and couldn't help but feel a burst of anger in his heart. Immediately he walked out of the ancestor worship ceremony. When Ao Yen arrived at the wedding stage, his jaw was almost dropped by the scene in front of him. At this time, Jiang Xiaobai was holding a large glass of water on the wedding stage, pointing at the tens of thousands of guests with his other hand. The aura looks down upon the world. Yes, I'm talking about you, bald old dog. You look like you don't even have any hair, so you don't have a partner, right? Even if I can marry a dragon princess, you have never even held a woman's hand, yet you still dare to yell at me. And you, look at the woman next to you, she looks crooked and cracked. Can you do it? Every one of you here is one of us. If any of you has a better wife than me, please stand up and see. I just want to say that everyone here is rubbish. All the people in the audience were so angry that they wanted to eat Jiang Xiaobai alive. If they can come to the Dragon Clan wedding, they are already the overlords of the party. Have you ever been so humiliated? Boy, what qualifications do you have to be so arrogant? That a strong man with a terrifying aura and unpredictable strength was almost going crazy with anger. These words almost made him bite his back molars. Jiang Xiaobai sneered. I'm just arrogant about what you can do. What can you do to me? Chapter 4 Getting Married. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The whole scene under the wedding stage was very chaotic for a time. To be honest, the situation was still controllable at the beginning, but later on, Jiang Xiaobai and Wanzu became very energetic. As a result, many powerful people couldn't do it anymore. How can they bear this grievance? Fortunately, Jiang Xiaobai started to choose the system again. This time it was even more exaggerated, with only 2 options. Choose 1, continue the scolding, and be rewarded with proficiency in alchemy. Option 2, give in and reward the host with a deep frying hell. Looking at the system information in his mind, Jiang Xiaobai understood that he had no way out, and isn't this second option just to let him die? So there was the scene that Ao Yen saw now. Jiang Xiaobai was sitting on the wedding stage like an old man, holding a bowl of water in his hand and spitting everywhere. In that scene, it was nothing more than a verbal battle with the Confucian scholars. Wow, you are so angry with me, you little bastard, I want you to die. An old Taoist's face turned red with anger. Jiang Xiaobai looked natural. Old man, are you being unreasonable? You were the one who said you wanted to discuss the truth before, but now that I can't argue with you, I'm going to take action. I have never seen such a shameless person in my life. I think you don't want to become an immortal anymore. Just find a piece of tofu and kill it. These words really made the old man look ferocious. He pointed at Jiang Xiaobai, who was shaking all over and couldn't say a word for a long time. As a result, he spurted out a mouthful of blood, rolled his eyes, and suddenly fainted from Jiang Xiaobai's anger. For a moment, the whole place fell into deathly silence. The outstanding young people from the Dragon Clan looked at Jiang Xiaobai as if they had seen a ghost. What a good guy. With just one mouth, he was able to turn a seasoned Taoist with golden elixir cultivation into what he is now. It seems that the princess's consort is not just a common man, right? And after something like this happened, no one dared to continue arguing with Jiang Xiaobai. That mouth of his can be regarded as a lesson. Congratulations to the host. In view of your spirit of not being afraid of death, I hereby reward you with an upgrade to the mid-stage nascent soul cultivation level. Hearing the beautiful sound of the system, Jiang Xiaobai couldn't help but laugh wildly in his heart. Can such a good thing happen? In fact, Jiang Xiaobai is also very shrewd. From the moment he opened his mouth to now, he has always regarded himself as the Dragon Clan's prince consort. In terms of status, he is much higher than everyone present, although he is just a mortal, and he is a mortal that Ao Yen picked up casually. Fortunately, Jiang Xiaobai showed an attitude both inside and outside his words. I am the Dragon Clan's consort, you don't dare touch me, no matter what my status is. My status is here after all, later, even the dragon masters around him believe this, and some even came out to support Jiang Xiaobai. Moreover, Her Royal Highness Princess Ao Yen was not there, and the Dragon Clan officials did not show up. Naturally, the Dragon Clan guards did not dare to mess around, so they could only block the wedding stage. However, as the system chooses to start, Jiang Xiaobai is now not weak at all. His current strength has reached the level of the middle nascent soul, which is stronger than those who are more than 99%, this is why he dares to be so bold. Although the scene was quiet now, if looks could kill, the tens of thousands of monks present could cut Jiang Xiaobai into thousands of pieces. At the same time, Jiang Xiaobai also vaguely discovered something, that is, most of the people who came to attend the wedding today are casual practitioners. Not all of them were big shots, he even saw many people whose cultivation level was lower than his own. Jiang Xiaobai was not a fool, so he naturally understood what was going on. The Dragon Clan wants to save face and everything must be done well, but it is a shame for the princess to marry a mortal after all. It is estimated that big families and powerful forces will not invite him. Otherwise, when he just opened his mouth to quarrel, some masters would have killed Jiang Xiaobai regardless of the strong Dragon Clan. But in this case, why make the matter such a big deal? In such a big scene, not many important people came, which made Jiang Xiaobai feel that there must be something fishy in it. While he was puzzled, Ao Yen appeared in front of Jiang Xiaobai with a gloomy face. Aha, I swear, they were the ones who spoke first. Jiang Xiaobai pointed directly at the people in the audience, the corners of Ao Yen's eyes twitched slightly. She didn't expect that today's events would turn into such a situation. What on earth did she grab and bring back? For a moment, Jiang Xiaobai smiled awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Princess, it's about the wedding. An old man stepped forward and said, looking at Jiang Xiaobai with a frightened look. His mouth was really too poisonous. Keep it going. Ao Yen said expressionlessly, Her Royal Highness has spoken, who dares to stop her? Then the music began to play and the wedding continued according to the previously established procedures. Although everyone in the audience wanted to eat Jiang Xiaobai alive, they had no choice but to make Jiang Xiaobai guess right. None of them are powerful people. Even when I was invited, I was confused, but now that Her Royal Highness the Dragon Princess has come out, and the other party didn't say anything, these people can only hold back. If you give up your job now, you will not give face to the Dragon Clan, do they dare? It is a lifelong honor to be able to attend such a feast. Soon, it was time to worship. A beautiful woman and a man with a majestic face appeared on the wedding stage. This is the current head of the Dragon Valley and his wife, sitting on the seat. Xuanhuan's eyebrows were full of helplessness. What happened today was Ao Yan's insistence, and no one in the entire Dragon Valley could do anything about it. Kneel down. Ao Yen said something and knelt down towards his parents. Jiang Xiaobai also knelt down hurriedly, and just when Jiang Xiaobai knelt down, the choice was triggered again. Congratulations to the host for trigger selection. Choice 1, complete the wedding and be rewarded with 1/10 of Lao Juan's alchemy skills. Option 2, reject openly and be rewarded with 20 years of cultivation. Jiang Xiaobai sneered in his heart, how dare he choose the second option. From time to time until now, Jiang Xiaobai has never thought about refusing to marry Ao Yen, he simply couldn't even think about it. As a good young man in the 21st century, even if he has never watched any palace fighting dramas, he still knows some truths. The current situation did not allow him to refuse, and the reward of 20 years of cultivation was useless. He can guarantee that as long as he refuses, his death will be extremely miserable. Worship heaven and earth. Jiang Xiaobai retracted his thoughts and turned around to worship heaven and earth together with Ao Yen. Thanks to Gao Tang, that when worshipping, Jiang Xiaobai clearly saw the disgust in Ao Wan's eyes, and he became more and more sure of his guess. Couple greetings. Turning around, Jiang Xiaobai looked at Ao Yan's face as beautiful as a fairy and suddenly smiled. When the two of them bowed to each other, Jiang Xiaobai smiled. Daughter-in-law, please take good care of me in the future. Ao Yen twitched the corners of his mouth silently, although his face remained expressionless, but the look she looked at Jiang Xiaobai was already cold. This farce must end. Ao Yen murmured in his heart. Chapter 5 I Can Save Your Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The worship ceremony went surprisingly smoothly. Everyone in the audience could only hold their noses and cheer and congratulate, even though they wanted to kill Jiang Xiaobai. The moment the wedding was completed, Jiang Xiaobai received the reward from the system, 1/10 of Laojuan's alchemy skills. That was Taishang Laojuan's alchemy technique. Although it was only 1/10 of the amount, it could not be overstated to call it a priceless treasure. Jiang Xiaobai had seen an alchemy reward before, but he didn't take it, and this time Laojuan's alchemy was much more powerful than the ordinary alchemy. Feeling the huge amount of information pouring into his mind, Jiang Xiaobai felt dazed for a while. He suddenly saw that there seemed to be a huge red spot inside Ao Yan's body. Just when he wanted to see it clearly, a delicate little hand grabbed Jiang Xiaobai's arm and pulled hard. If you dare to stand still, I will kill you now. A cold voice came from the side. Seeing Xiaobai come to his senses, it turned out that the toasting session had already begun. Suddenly he felt terrified. Toast requires drinking with many people in the audience. Let's not talk about whether he will drink these tens of thousands of people to death. Just based on his previous behavior, he is afraid that there will be no good results. Fortunately, he didn't trigger the selection this time, otherwise the system might have tricked him. When his thoughts were overflowing, Jiang Xiaobai had already reached the first table. Here are the top young people of the Dragon Clan. Hey, happy marriage, eldest sister. I'll drink this cup first as a token of respect. I did it too. Congratulations to the eldest sister, congratulations to the eldest sister. All the outstanding young people of the Dragon Clan who were doing this stood up, picked up their wine glasses and drank down the wine in one gulp. Ao Yen looked indifferent, nodded, and drank the drink casually. Jiang Xiaobai also raised his glass, but as soon as he picked up the glass, he was suddenly startled and turned his head suddenly. I saw a shadowy gaze looking at me. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a handsome guy? Ao Tianheng almost spit out a mouthful of blood, clenched his fists, and was about to have an attack, yet he held back. Soon Jiang Xiaobai came to Ao Tianheng's table. At this time, Ao Tianheng sneered in his heart. He moved his hand slightly under the table, and a burst of spiritual power rushed towards Jiang Xiaobai. Jiang Xiaobai received 2 rewards and was already in the middle stage of nascent soul cultivation. Although he felt this spiritual power, the person who took action was obviously stronger than him. It was too late to react. Boom, Jiang Xiaobai fell solidly to the ground. Ah ha ha ha, you made this arrogant bitch get retribution, right? You useless piece of trash, you just drank a few glasses of wine and you can't hold it anymore. Trash is just trash, and it will only serve the purpose of words. The people around him spoke sarcastically without any hesitation. Ao Yen frowned, and a strong look of disgust flashed in his eyes. If you can't drink, just go back to your room and wait for me. Ao Yen snorted coldly. Jiang Xiaobai got up from the ground and did not show any embarrassment. On the contrary, his expression was casual. TCH, where are you going? I'm not going to wear them today. Jiang Xiaobai smiled, but his heart felt cold. There were a lot of people talking around, and although he knew someone was attacking him, he couldn't tell who it was based on his cultivation. However, although those people wished for his death, they did not dare to do anything under Ao Yan's nose. The only person who dares to do this must think that his identity is similar to Ao Yan. Then, there is only Ao Tianheng. Haha, that bitch dares to trick your grandpa, just wait. Jiang Xiaobai sneered in his heart, picked up another wine glass and drank it in one gulp, continued to toast. Soon, many outstanding young people in Longgu finished their toasts and finally came to the other tables. As soon as he arrived, Jiang Xiaobai felt like a light on his back. Unkind eyes stared at him. Jiang Xiaobai is no longer afraid of this. He was a little scared before, but now, with Ao Yen standing beside him, he is scared of these people. If you dare to cause trouble, you will fight to death. Don't mention it. Ao Yen is indeed a magic weapon. These people only dare to stare at Jiang Xiaobai with resentful eyes, and don't even dare to say sarcastic words. How long do you think the eldest sister's consort can last? He's just a mortal. I guess he's dying. As a bet, I say he can still drink 2 more drinks. What bet? How about a small bonus and 10 high-grade spiritual stones? Just bet, come on, is there anyone else you want to join us? Many young people from the dragon tribe gathered together and stared at Jiang Xiaobai. After 2 cups, Jiang Xiaobai did not fall down. Oh, this shouldn't be done. No, if you come again, he'll drink 3 more glasses and then he'll fall. The person who opened the market snorted coldly. However, what happened next was beyond everyone's expectations. Jiang Xiaobai actually drank for a whole hour. Impossible, is this even a mortal? The young man from the dragon race at the opening was dumbfounded. He grabbed the hair on his head frantically. Keep going, he will definitely collapse after 10 tables. He doesn't believe in evil today. Is it possible that Jiang Xiaobai can drink all the way to the end? 10 tables later, Jiang Xiaobai is still strong. Ao Cheng, let me forget it. One person chuckled. From the beginning to now, Ao Cheng has lost tens of thousands of pieces of high-grade spirit stones at a time. However, Ao Cheng never believed in evil and insisted on continuing to come. As if he was in a state of madness. Everyone around them shook their heads and stopped participating. For a moment, Ao Cheng stared at Jiang Xiaobai with scarlet eyes. He didn't believe it. How could a mere mortal know how to drink? Even if he doesn't use his spiritual power, he can't do it. In fact, Jiang Xiaobai was using his spiritual power to fight against the power of alcohol. Otherwise, he would have collapsed after a dozen drinks. The reason why no one knows about Jiang Xiaobai's cultivation until now is because Jiang Xiaobai let the system block his cultivation. The effect is quite good. 3 hours later, Jiang Xiaobai finally drank everything here. For a moment, everyone was amazed, a mere mortal with such a good drinking capacity. And somewhere on the other side, Ao Cheng is going crazy. Boom. After returning to the room smelling of alcohol, Jiang Xiaobai sat directly on the chair with a look of despair on his face. Good guy, even if he has the spiritual power to consume alcohol, it is really uncomfortable to have a full stomach of water. At this time, Ao Yan walked in with a cold expression. As Ao Yan's footsteps fell, her aura gradually increased, and finally, it condensed into a sharp murderous intent. Do you have any last words? Ao Yan said coldly. However, Jiang Xiaobai's expected look of panic on his face and his kneeling down to beg for mercy did not appear. On the contrary, he looked very calm. You said, if you don't want to get married, why would you bother me, a mortal? Jiang Xiaobai sighed. Are these your last words? Ao Yan snorted coldly. Her spiritual energy surged through her body, and she raised her hand to slap Jiang Xiaobai on the chest. I can save your life. As soon as he finished speaking, his slender hand rested steadily an inch on Jiang Xiaobai's chest. Chapter 6. Do you believe that I can make elixirs with my bare hands? You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's really ridiculous. You are a mortal, who gives you the qualification to say such a thing? Ao Yan sneered, even if this princess is in trouble, you don't need to save me. But you didn't kill me after all, right? Jiang Xiaobai smiled calmly. I'm afraid the fire poison in your body can't be suppressed, right? Jiang Xiaobai's expression was indifferent. In less than a month, the fire poison will break out. If you only rely on your strength to suppress it, your realm will inevitably decline. And I, your husband, have a way to save you. That's all, it's your choice. They seem to be as stable as an old dog, but in fact they are panicking in their hearts. He was so close, just an inch away from death. After Jiang Xiaobai finished speaking, he continued to be as steady as a dog, and even poured himself a cup of tea. Just based on the appearance, there is no clue at all. Only Jiang Xiaobai knew in his heart that his butt was wet, soaked in cold sweat. Ao Yan stood there, his expression even colder than before. Just because Jiang Xiaobai calls himself her husband, however, the reason why he didn't take action was because Jiang Xiaobai was right. She really couldn't deal with the fire poison in her body. But how could Jiang Xiaobai, a mere mortal, know this? Even if he knew this, what could a mortal do? You must know that Long Gu is at a loss what to do about this. Time passed by minute, the atmosphere in the room was frozen. Jiang Xiaobai and Tairua drank tea naturally, but tried their best to control their hands from shaking. At this juncture, if something goes wrong, dead. What can you do? Ao Yen said coldly. Do you believe me? If you say one more nonsense, I'll beat you to pieces right now and feed you to the dogs. Jiang Xiaobai almost spit out a mouthful of tea. It is indeed a female Tyrannosaurus. Taking a deep breath, something appeared in Jiang Xiaobai's hand, which was a pill that exuded an extremely terrifying aura. Looking carefully, there are 9 lines on the elixir that contain the Supreme Avenue. This is the elixir pattern, the 9-path elixir pattern, which is the 9-turn golden elixir. There is only Lao Juan's family in heaven and earth. This was a reward from the previous system. Jiang Xiaobai took it out at this time and directly suppressed Ao Yen. What kind of elixir is this? Ao Yen looked at the elixir in Jiang Xiaobai's hand in disbelief. His expression was shocked, and he could even see his body trembling slightly. Don't worry about the level, as long as it can save your life. Ao Yen narrowed her eyes. At that moment, she wanted to grab the things directly. She didn't know what grade it was, but she could tell from the aura of greatness emanating from it that it was definitely a rare treasure. If this is used to deal with fire poison, it is really overkill. Don't rush to grab it yet. Jiang Xiaobai said calmly, with an expression on his face as if he had read Ao Yen's thoughts. Ao Yen suddenly looked stunned. It's really embarrassing to have a mortal see through your mind. However, she did not take action directly, but was a little curious about what this mortal would say next. There is only one elixir of this kind. It is too violent and wasteful to use it to deal with your fire poison. Jiang Xiaobai said calmly, take out the pen and paper and bring me the elixir I wrote. Ao Yen narrowed her eyes and stared at Jiang Xiaobai. After a moment, she waved gently. She wanted to see what this annoying guy was up to. Within a minute, a maid brought the things. Do you want me to sharpen ink for you? Ao Yen sneered. How dare Jiang Xiaobai? He casually wrote some elixirs on the paper. These elixirs were not very precious, but they could be used to refine elixirs that could relieve fire poison. The reason why he took out the 9 turns golden pill first was to calm Ao Yen. Otherwise, who would believe him if he said he knew how to make elixirs? Ao Yen didn't even glance at the words on the paper and threw it directly to the maid. A cup of tea and all the elixirs were collected. These things are piled up like mountains in the Dragon Valley treasure house, just like garbage. Don't tell me that you can make pills. Ao Yen looked at the elixir on the table and sneered sarcastically. Congratulations to the host for triggering the selection. Choice 1, a tactful slap in the face and a reward of 10 years of cultivation. Option 2, arrogant slap in the face, reward the divine flames of heaven and earth, the fire of heaven. There are 2 choices again, and Jiang Xiaobai still has to choose. Because he discovered very early that if he did nothing after triggering the choice, the consequence would be forced execution. This is cruel, not even reincarnation, and he discovered a general rule: the more uncharacteristic the choice, the higher the reward. There seems to be something fishy about this system. It seems that this system is very abnormal. In other words, it's very demonic, and Jiang Xiaobai can't delve into the secret at the moment. In this case, if he is going to be slapped in the face eventually, it must be the second one. If I can make elixirs and can cure your fire poison, what will you do? Oh, this is the first time I've heard of a mortal making elixirs. Ao Yen sneered. If you can really make elixirs, you can do whatever you want. You sure? Jiang Xiaobai raised his eyebrows. He could already imagine Ao Yen turning his face and not recognizing anyone after he made the request. I keep my word, princess. Don't talk nonsense and make elixirs. You will live if the pill is taken, but you will die if the pill is taken away. Jiang Xiaobai pouted. She was really a strong woman, difficult to do. However, Jiang Xiaobai didn't make any movement. Seeing this, Ao Yen frowned. Why are you standing there in a daze? Jiang Xiaobai chuckled. Do you believe I can make an elixir with my bare hands? Of course I don't believe it. If you don't believe me, why don't you ask someone to prepare the alchemy furnace for me? Ao Yen's face was as gloomy as water. She clenched her fists and her chest heaved. When someone comes, the alchemy furnace will be waiting for you. Soon the alchemy furnace was brought in, and Ao Yen didn't want to stay in the room anymore. She had seen Jiang Xiaobai's mouth. If it weren't for the fire poison, Jiang Xiaobai would have been completely cold by now. After seeing Ao Yen walk out of the room, Jiang Xiaobai breathed a sigh of relief. However, he did not use the alchemy furnace. Instead, he stretched out his hand and held it in the air, and a white flame ignited in his hand. He didn't want to expose too much, so he turned into an alchemy furnace with his hands. This was the effect of Lao Jun's alchemy technique. Ordinary alchemy is impossible, and at least it requires a divine alchemist to do it. Now that Ao Yen is not here, he simply refines it directly. In fact, Jiang Xiaobai really saved his life. Fire poison is the most difficult problem to eradicate in Tianxian continent. Countless alchemists racked their brains but could not completely eradicate the fire poison. The only way is to use elixirs to help, and then a strong person takes action to forcibly remove the fire poison from the body. But Ao Yen was very powerful, and the dragon blood in her body was the purest in the entire Dragon Valley. No one could help her remove the fire poison. Why Jiang Xiaobai was able to solve it was because of Lao Jun's alchemy skills. Although it is only 1/10, it is not that there is only 1/10 of the elixir recipe, but Jiang Xiaobai knows all the elixir recipes, but the refining method is only 1/10 of Lao Jun's. After preliminary contact, Jiang Xiaobai determined that Tianxian continent was not such a powerful place, at least in terms of elixirs. It seems very barren. In less than 5 minutes, the divine quality Huaqing pill was completed. This thing is used to eradicate fire poison. Fire poison is actually a toxin that will inevitably be produced after taking elixirs for a long time. And spiritual power cannot dispel it at all. It is impossible to make alchemy without impurities. It's medicine that's 3 parts poison, let alone elixirs. Unless it is the 9-turn golden elixir that only comes from Lao Jun's family in the world, there is absolutely no way it will have no side effects. Playing with the elixir in his hand, Jiang Xiaobai adjusted his mood, and then coughed dryly. Squeak, the door opened, and Ao Yen walked in with a cold face, and then fixed his gaze on the pill in Jiang Xiaobai's hand. Chapter 7 Going Out to Seek Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This guy can actually make elixirs, and it's also a top-grade elixir. The speed is so fast. Here, if you eat this, half of the fire poison in your body will be removed. Ao Yen frowned. Are you kidding me? Complete removal will take time. Do you think I'm a god descending to earth? Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes, looking at the elixir in his hand. Ao Yen fell into deep thought. Based on the sense of breath, it is true that this is a high-grade elixir, but is it really able to clear away fire poison as Jiang Xiaobai said? After all, she didn't trust Jiang Xiaobai. After all, the two parties have known each other for less than a day. After hesitating for a long time, Ao Yen finally closed his eyes and swallowed the Huaqing Dan. Suddenly, a cool medicinal power spread through the meridians in the body, and the fire poison was obviously eliminated a lot. It took half an hour for the medicine to fully stabilize. At this time, Ao Yen was dumbfounded. Half of the fire poison was really eliminated. Okay, it's time for you to fulfill your promise. Ao Yen was still in shock and ignored Jiang Xiaobai. Jiang Xiaobai was stunned. Good guy, is this female Tyrannosaurus going to kill the donkey and refuse to admit her guilt? Lady? Wife? Young married woman? Dear? If you dare to scream again, I will kill you. Ao Yen suddenly interrupted Jiang Xiaobai's act of seeking death, and Jiang Xiaobai suddenly smiled. Tell me what conditions you have. A relaxed smile appeared on Jiang Xiaobai's face. Fortunately, this woman did not break her promise. This was also the first step for him to gain a foothold in Dragon Valley, but what he didn't expect was that the system actually prompted that the selection was completed at this time. But Ao Yen couldn't see any clues at all. It has to be said that this female Tyrannosaurus has good concentration and does not react at all. In fact, Hang Yaoyan's head was buzzing with shock, but Jiang Xiaobai didn't feel it. Then Jiang Xiaobai shook his head, thinking about what conditions he wanted to make at this time. What can be concluded is that he does not need to die. Being able to refine the Qingqing pill will be of great benefit to Longu without any harm. As for temporarily suspending this requirement, Jiang Xiaobai does not think it is a feasible method. The female Tyrannosaurus had a violent temper and would threaten her with death at every turn. If she kept hanging on for dear life, Jiang Xiaobai felt that she would probably be beaten into powder in a fit of rage. After a while, Jiang Xiaobai decided to make a request that was not too excessive to make Ao Yan think that he could be controlled. The conditions are not difficult. From now on, we will sleep in the same room. Ao Yan's beautiful eyes widened, and there was already a killing intent in his eyes. Misunderstanding, I mean, you sleep on it and I sleep on it, Jiang Xiaobai said, pointing to the floor. Ao Yan fell into silence. As the most stunning princess of the dragon clan, she is powerful, but also a proud person. It is absolutely impossible to disobey a mortal, but this is a requirement. That's all, this condition is acceptable. Anyway, Jiang Xiaobai is a mortal, and Ao Yan is not afraid of a mortal causing trouble. If the other person is really obsessed with his mind, she will slap him to death. I won't hold you accountable for what happened today, but don't think you can survive in the future. You should know that the Valley Master has an engagement with me. In 1 month, people from the ancient clan will come to Dragon Valley. You should understand what the consequences will be for you then. After saying these words, Ao Yan walked out of the room. After a long time, after confirming that Ao Yan would not come back, Jiang Xiaobai slid down from the chair. That's right, it just slides down softly. If he hadn't forcibly supported the armrests of the stool with his arms, he would have slid down due to too much sweat on his butt. Lying on the ground, Jiang Xiaobai didn't want to move at all. It is impossible to say that he is not afraid. Although he has some strength now, in front of Ao Yan, that is not enough. Ao Yan is at least at the distraction stage, maybe even higher. Slapping him to death is still a slap in the face. It is worth mentioning that now his life is saved, and because of that condition, Jiang Xiaobai's environment has become much safer. The reason why he made such a request was mainly because Jiang Xiaobai was guarding against a guy, that is, Ao Tianheng, who was teasing him at the wedding banquet today. Judging from the look on the other side, it was obvious that he was unhappy that he and Ao Yan were getting married. If this guy is doing something behind his back, Jiang Xiaobai really doesn't have the ability to deal with it at the moment. If he's not careful, he might actually go back to the drawing board and reinvent the wheel, but the biggest problem now is the ancient tribe. He finally understood that Ao Yan didn't want to marry the ancient clan, and it seemed that he would find him as a mortal because there was no other way. But from Jiang Xiaobai's point of view, Ao Yan probably just wanted to use himself to discuss the ancient tribe. His life and death as a mortal is insignificant to Long Gu, and no one cares about a mortal. I guess, no matter what I do today, this crazy woman Ao Yan will kill me. I am still alive now because I can refine the Qingqing pill, which is very helpful to Dragon Valley. It only took him a moment to understand his current situation. Although it is safe, the crisis is even greater. One can imagine the strength of the ancient clan that even Long Gu could not forcibly refuse the marriage contract. 1 month later, the ancient tribe will arrive. If he can't do anything by then, he will definitely be thrown away as an abandoned son and will die. Even if he can refine the Qingqing pill, once these two forces get serious, the consequences will be quite tragic. So in order to preserve his power, Jiang Xiaobai must die. No, we can't just sit there and wait for death. Either escape from the ancient tribe, or find a solution. After lying on the ground for a while, Jiang Xiaobai suddenly stood up. He already had some thoughts in his mind. Although leaving from Dragon Valley would be a good choice, he could go anywhere in such a big continent, and he wouldn't be afraid of being found if he had a system nearby. But now he can't get out of Longgu at all. Once he gets out, those guys who were sprayed by him at the previous wedding will know the news and may chase him to the ends of the earth. Now, his cultivation is still too weak, and escaping from the shelter of Dragon Valley means death. After all, he is now the consort of Princess Long Gu. Even if these people want to mess with him, they still have to look at Long Gu's face. Doesn't it also depend on the owner when beating a dog? After closing the door tightly, the first thing Jiang Xiaobai did was to close his eyes and inspect the harvest, innate Taoist body, mid-stage nascent soul cultivation realm, 1/10 of Lao Juan's alchemy skills, and the newly obtained heavenly fire. These are all Jiang Xiaobai's strengths. There is also a 9-turn mysterious technique, which is a body training technique that defies the heavens and is so powerful that it explodes. After some inspection, Jiang Xiaobai was shocked to find that, because of his continuous cultivation for decades, his 9 revolutions mysterious technique had also improved. At this time, it is already in the 2nd turn state. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai shook hands excitedly, feeling that he had terrifying and boundless power in his body. This is the ultimate body training skill, the most advanced one. It seemed that he could easily flatten the hut with just one punch. This was an illusion caused by the rapid improvement of cultivation. Soon, Jiang Xiaobai got used to this feeling after moving his body for a while. Now, I just have to think of a way to find a way in this short period of 1 month so that I can survive in the future. Jiang Xiaobai tidied his clothes, take a deep breath, step up, and pushed the door open in one go. There was no sunshine outside. It was evening. Ao Yen, the female Tyrannosaurus, had gone somewhere. There were only a dozen maids in the courtyard. When they saw Jiang Xiaobai, they all bowed down respectfully. After all, he was the consort, and the attendants would not dare to look down upon him. Not long after Jiang Xiaobai walked out of the yard, he suddenly saw a figure walking towards him quickly. He could even feel the terrifying aura and deep hostility on that person's body. Jiang Xiaobai was immediately stunned. Although he concluded that his situation was very dangerous, he wouldn't be killed as soon as he left the house. At the moment when he was stunned, the figure had already arrived in front of Jiang Xiaobai. When he took a closer look, he saw that he was a handsome young man with an arrogant and domineering temperament. Ao Cheng looked at Jiang Xiaobai with a cold face. This guy made him lose tens of thousands of high-grade spiritual stones today. Not only that, it also made him lose face. The most important thing in front of many brothers and sisters is face, not one of them. Thinking of this, Ao Cheng wanted to beat Jiang Xiaobai to death. Chapter 8 Brother-in-law, do you believe me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ao Cheng just stared at Jiang Xiaobai without making any move. At first Jiang Xiaobai pretended to be calm, but he didn't dare to breathe. But then he thought about it and there was a problem. This guy was hostile to me. He rushed up like this, but he didn't make any move. Obviously he didn't dare to do anything to himself, so he breathed a sigh of relief. Who are you? Jiang Xiaobai asked. Ao Cheng sneered. You, a mortal, are quite interesting. First you pissed off so many people, and then you cost me a lot of money. The most incomprehensible thing to me is that you are still alive. When he said these words, Ao Cheng was gritting his teeth. It was obvious that he hated Jiang Xiaobai more than just a little bit. However, Jiang Xiaobai received a piece of information keenly. Is this guy betting on himself? And then lost a lot of money? Let me introduce myself. My name is Ao Cheng, and Ao Yen is my sister. Jiang Xiaobai was shocked. Oops, it's actually my brother-in-law. What do you want from me? Jiang Xiaobai held back his emotions and said calmly. Humph, today you, a good-for-nothing mortal, cost me tens of thousands of high-grade spiritual stones. This debt needs to be settled no matter what, right? Ao Cheng snorted coldly. Jiang Xiaobai could even hear the sound of the opponent's bones making his fists clenched. Fortunately, this is not a problem that is difficult to solve. Instead, this is an opportunity. Jiang Xiaobai was still having a headache just now, but now, the other party came to his door. If he could have a good relationship with the young master of Long Valley, it would be extremely beneficial to his current situation. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai's eyes flashed with an imperceptible cunning. You want me to compensate you for your losses? Jiang Xiaobai smiled lightly and shook his head. I'm sorry, this is impossible. Ao Cheng was immediately angry. Damn mortal, are you looking for death? Let's not talk about anything else. Do you think I can get the money? Well, that's true. Ao Cheng was suddenly stunned. Only then did he remember that the other person was just a mortal, and he probably didn't even know what a spiritual stone was. I was so angry that I ignored this incident, but what about his loss? Is it all in vain? Just when Ao Cheng was getting angry and ready to explode, Jiang Xiaobai smiled lightly again. You want your losses? It's natural. Let me ask one more question. How did you place the bet in the first place? Ao Cheng frowned and casually told the situation at that time. It turned out that the first person to open the market was not Ao Cheng, but another guy named Ao Fong. After losing once, Ao Cheng refused to accept it and opened the market himself. As a result, tens of thousands of spiritual stones were lost. Then Jiang Xiaobai asked about Ao Fong's personality and whether there was any grudge between him and Ao Cheng. The result is that Ao Fong is extremely cunning, and he has always held a grudge because his items were robbed by Ao Cheng at an auction. However, Ao Cheng is Ao Yan's younger brother, and Ao Fong does not dare to mess around at this point. Jiang Xiaobai probably understood that his brother-in-law was simply stupid. It's obviously a setup. First of all, Jiang Xiaobai, as a mortal, dared to toast tens of thousands of people, which is enough to prove that there is something wrong, and after Ao Tianheng made him embarrassed, Jiang Xiaobai continued to toast. Smart people all know that Jiang Xiaobai has his own support, whether he has other means or he has a really good drinking capacity. When Ao Fong opened the market for the first time, Jiang Xiaobai had only had 3 glasses of wine, the only thing that Jiang Xiaobai couldn't figure out was why Ao Cheng took over and opened the game after losing just 1 game. You like to play like this? Jiang Xiaobai raised his eyebrows. Ao Cheng nodded. Yes, I like to play a few games when I have nothing to do, but I just bet with others. I have never been to a place like a gambling house. Are you afraid that your sister will whip you? Ao Cheng's expression suddenly changed. Don't talk too much, or you won't even know how you died. Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes. Yes, the 2 siblings are so virtuous that they like to force each other to death. It is to use the death of others to force others, simply shameful. Hateful. Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes and smiled. Do you want to get back double the money you lost? Hearing this, Ao Cheng suddenly raised his eyebrows and began to look Jiang Xiaobai up and down. Mortal, it's just you. Ao Cheng looked at it for a long time before sneering. Jiang Xiaobai was not angry and said, it's not impossible for me to help you, but I need 100% of your trust in order to do it. Ao Cheng narrowed his eyes and fell into hesitation. After all, Jiang Xiaobai is a mortal, and the 2 have never had any intersection before today. It is not a good thing to trust the other person rashly, but when he thought of the tens of thousands of high-grade spiritual stones he lost today, Ao Cheng panicked. If Ao Yan knew about this, he would lose his skin even if he died. And he was really unhappy about losing money. It would be nice to get it back. If you can get more, that's not impossible. With countless thoughts in his mind, Ao Cheng gritted his teeth. Done. Tell me, how can I get my money back doubled? A harmless smile appeared on Jiang Xiaobai's face. Come on, let's talk carefully. Under the leadership of Ao Cheng, the 2 came to a quiet small pavilion. After making sure that there was no one around, they began a secret plan. After chatting for a full 2 hours, the 2 parted ways. Back in the yard, Jiang Xiaobai opened the door and found Ao Yan sitting on a chair, looking at him coldly. What have you been doing? Ao Yan said coldly. The coldness on her body was much reduced at this time, but it could be seen in her eyes. She is still a dragon with no emotions. It's nothing. I met a brother who I can talk to more easily. I just chatted a few more words. Jiang Xiaobai didn't mention that that person was your biological brother. After hearing this, Ao Yan snorted coldly and threw a storage ring to Jiang Xiaobai. There are 1,000 high-grade spiritual stones in it. This time, I owe you. You've already paid it back, so forget the money. Jiang Xiaobai smiled calmly, then, ignoring Ao Yan's eyes, he directly picked up the quilt from the side and spread it flat on the floor. Are you still up so late? If you don't want to sleep, I'll go to sleep first. I'm so sleepy. Jiang Xiaobai yawned and fell asleep. Doing this will instantly make Ao Yan look stupid. At this moment, Ao Yan felt that he could not see through this mortal, especially what he had done today. The more he thought about it, the more Ao Yan frowned. No matter how you look at it, Jiang Xiaobai is not a mortal. Get up. Answer me a question. As a mortal, why can you make elixirs? Chapter 9. Can I want to cultivate immortality? You are listening at novelfull.audio. For ordinary people to make elixirs, it is simply a joke in the world. Refining alchemy doesn't just mean that you light a fire and add medicinal materials into the alchemy furnace. Even if there is no cultivation level, the soul still needs to be strong, otherwise it will not be refined at all. Oh, you said this. When I was out herding cattle when I was a kid, I met an old man with a white beard. He took one look at me and told me that I was a unique genius with extraordinary bones. He forced me to give me a little book. I guess it's the problem with the little book. After reading it, I'll be able to make elixirs. Jiang Xiaobai's face didn't turn red, and his heart didn't beat. He was good at deceiving people. Where's the little book? Ao Yen raised his eyebrows. Lost. You? Ao Yen almost vomited blood, looking like he hated iron and wanted to beat Jiang Xiaobai to death. She had just carefully inspected Jiang Xiaobai and found that he had no aura at all. Then what Jiang Xiaobai said may be true, and Ao Yen also probably understood what the little book Jiang Xiaobai was talking about. It should be the so-called alchemy inheritance, but Jiang Xiaobai was too young back then to know what it was. In this way, mortals can explain it through alchemy. Seeing Jiang Xiaobai's confused look, Ao Yen suddenly felt lucky. Did you catch a treasure by yourself? However, Ao Yen didn't pay much attention. In her opinion, Jiang Xiaobai would still die in a month. She had never thought of letting Jiang Xiaobai live. Since he was still useful to Long Gu, she should let him live a little longer. Then he closed his eyes and practiced cross-legged. The reason why she has achieved the top position in Dragon Valley today is not only because of her bloodline, but also because of her hard work day and night. Otherwise, it would still be impossible for the younger generation to speak for themselves and reach the level of strength that surpasses Ao Tianheng's 2 realms now. In the early morning, when Jiang Xiaobai woke up, he found that there was no trace of Ao Yen in the room, so he got up and stretched. He still has a lot to do. Yesterday I fooled my brother-in-law, and this was one of the plans to gain a foothold. Jiang Xiaobai's purpose was also very simple. He had to have a good relationship with his brother-in-law. He couldn't count on having a good relationship with Ao Yen. It wouldn't be bad if this woman got angry and killed him. Although I have never thought about getting my brother-in-law to obey my words, I at least want to make sure that the other party can stand on my side. Of course, Jiang Xiaobai didn't expect Ao Qing to help him survive in times of crisis. After all, his personal strength could not compete with the entire family. What he needs is the current help from Ao Qing so that he can do more things. At the same time, he has to face a lot of troubles both openly and secretly. Thinking in his mind, a round pill appeared in Jiang Xiaobai's hand. The elixir exudes a terrifying aura, and there are 9 mysterious lines on it, which are the elixir lines. Only on top of the immortal elixir can the elixir pattern be refined. What is in Jiang Xiaobai's hands now is a 9-turn golden pill, the reward from yesterday's system. At this time Ao Yen suddenly pushed open the door and entered. Come with me. Ao Yen said coldly. Her attitude towards Jiang Xiaobai was still so cold. Jiang Xiaobai stood up directly. He knew that this time it was important. Follow Ao Yen out of the small courtyard and walk down the mountain. After walking out of Bao Jiang Xiaobai, he discovered what kind of place Longgu was. This place is the territory of a large family. The first place Jiang Xiaobai entered after coming down from the mountain was a huge square. There were people coming and going in the square, all of them were dragons. There are also many buildings in the square, but it is unknown what they are used for. Surrounded by dozens of peaks, the dragon clan usually lives on different peaks according to their branches. Among them, a peak as tall as a cloud is very eye-catching, and the destination of the 2 of them is exactly there. Following Ao Yen as he walked in the Dragon Valley, Jiang Xiaobai looked like a naked woman, extremely eye-catching. No matter where he went, there were pairs of eyes staring at him. There was deep sarcasm and disdain in his eyes. Just because he is the only mortal in Dragon Valley. Soon, the 2 came to the mountainside of the tall mountain. Here Jiang Xiaobai saw a magnificent hall, and along the way, the place was filled with small attics that exuded a terrifying aura. More than 90% of the powerful people in Dragon Valley should be gathered here. Directly above the Grand Hall, there is a plaque with 2 large gilded characters on it, Dragon Palace. A majestic and ancient aura hit his face, and Jiang Xiaobai realized that this dragon palace was actually a magic weapon. I couldn't help but feel shocked. The dragon clan is indeed a dragon clan, and it embodies the words wealth and wealth to the fullest. After entering the dragon palace, Ao Yen asked Jiang Xiaobai to stand still and then walked out. Jiang Xiaobai started to look at it. Boy, come sit here and have a drink with me. A kind voice came, and Jiang Xiaobai suddenly looked towards a corner of the dragon palace. He saw a short, fat old man with a ruddy face, a kind face, a white beard and white eyebrows waving to him. He didn't have that kind of contempt and ridicule towards Jiang Xiaobai. On the contrary, He was really like the grandpa next door. At that moment Jiang Xiaobai came over. You have a good capacity for drinking. After drinking a lot yesterday, nothing happened. The short, fat old man chuckled and poured a glass of wine for the two of them at the same time. The aroma of wine overflowed and filled the hall, but Jiang Xiaobai had no intention of savoring it carefully. Old man, you are joking. How can I compare with your drinking capacity? Jiang Xiaobai said with a smile. He knew that the person in front of him was beyond his imagination, both in terms of strength and status in Dragon Valley. In the face of this kind of existence, we still need to be cautious in our words and deeds. The short, fat old man nodded and smiled, drank the wine in one gulp, and made a pleasant sound. I'm not a person who likes to beat around the bush. I heard from Yenner that you are able to make elixirs with a mortal body, and you can also make elixirs that can resolve fire poisons. Hearing this, Jiang Xiaobai's expression became serious and he was about to come. Dang even nodded. Indeed so. Xuanhuan narrowed his eyes. Do you know the function and significance of the elixir you refined? I don't know, kid. It's very important to tell you clearly, and it's even more important to me, Longgu. While talking, Xuanhuan continued to observe Jiang Xiaobai's expression. Jiang Xiaobai didn't show much surprise, but was very calm. This time I came to you not just for the alchemy thing. Let me ask you, do you want to cultivate immortality? At this time, Jiang Xiaobai's face showed surprise and shock. Good guy, just because of a Huaqing pill, this old man wants to really become a part of Dragon Valley? It shouldn't be possible, but now he could only pretend to be shocked. I can also become an immortal. This is natural. Xuanwu smiled lightly. As long as you are willing, Longgu can train you. After all, how can someone who can make alchemy have no cultivation level? Of course I am willing, 100 willing. Jiang Xiaobai scratched his head. It's just that I heard that cultivating immortals requires qualifications. I don't know if my qualifications are enough. Hand out your hand and show me. Xuanwu grabbed Jiang Xiaobai's wrist, felt it, and found that Jiang Xiaobai actually had a high-grade spiritual root. Spiritual roots are divided into lower, middle and upper grades, as well as divine grade, immortal grade and peerless grade. The higher the level of the spiritual root, the better the cultivation qualifications. A high-grade spiritual root is already a very good qualification for a mortal like Jiang Xiaobai. The qualifications are good. Let's practice with Mr. Sanzhong in the future. Chapter 10 I Won't Eat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Listening to Xuanwu's words, the look of anticipation on Jiang Xiaobai's face became more intense. In fact, he was all pretending, and when Xuanwu wanted to check his cultivation qualifications, he had already communicated with the system. The system ensures that no one can detect the clues. This is the current situation. Ahem. At this moment, Xuanwu suddenly coughed violently. He stretched out his hand to cover his mouth, and he could still see the red blood overflowing between his fingers. At this time, Jiang Xiaobai noticed that the other party actually had extremely serious injuries inside his body. With his current strength, it is impossible to tell what Xuanwu's cultivation level is, but what is certain is that Xuanwu relied on his strong cultivation level to suppress the injury. Otherwise, it would have been long ago. Hearing the cough, a figure from outside the Dragon Palace rushed in quickly. Grandpa Zhu, are you okay? Ao Yen looked worried and hurriedly wanted to call the alchemists in the Dragon Valley. It doesn't matter, this problem has been going on for more than 10 years. It's not like you don't know about it. Xuanwu smiled lightly. At this time, Ao Yen suddenly thought of something and looked at Jiang Xiaobai hurriedly. With a look of prayer in his eyes, she knew that Jiang Xiaobai had a magical elixir in his hand that was beyond the divine level. If Grandpa Zhu took it, he would definitely be able to recover from his injuries. Bringing Jiang Xiaobai here this time also has such a purpose, but before she could speak, Jiang Xiaobai took out the 9 turns golden pill. Grandpa Zhu, your injuries should be able to recover if you take this pill. Jiang Xiaobai said calmly. He didn't say that he could recover 100%. He mainly wanted to leave a good impression. After all, it was a matter of life and death for him. However, what people didn't expect was that Ao Yuanwu just glanced at the elixir and ignored it. Put it away. Over the years, the elixir has been like eating carrots. It has no effect at all. Although this elixir has a mysterious breath, it cannot really cure me. Ao Yuanwu said calmly. Jiang Xiaobai was dumbfounded. He has read books. Is there any injury in this world that cannot be cured by the 9 transformations golden pill? Damn old man, don't try to frame me. But Ao Yuanwu acted as if this elixir was useless to me, which really made Jiang Xiaobai look stupid, but if you think about it carefully, things like 9 turns golden pill are not accessible to ordinary people. Grandpa, I have never felt the power of the elixir. It must be a good treasure, Ao Yen hurriedly advised. Even if a mortal can make elixirs and has the ability to come up with something good, I know you gave him this elixir. Didn't you just want to trick your grandpa into eating it? Ao Yuan will look like he could see through everything. The two of them were completely dumbfounded. Okay, even if I have taken one of the immortal elixirs, even though the medicine is terrifying, it is of no use to my injuries. You two, please step back. Don't forget the dinner tonight. In this way, the two of them were sent out of the Dragon Palace in a daze. Jiang Xiaobai's face still looked very helpless, and the same was true for Ao Yen. Don't say too much at the dinner party. Ao Yen said coldly to Jiang Xiaobai, and then walked straight forward, but after walking for a while, she paused and returned to Jiang Xiaobai. Mortal, where did your elixir come from? Ao Yen frowned. The grandpa gave it to me, saying it was something I would need for an important turning point in my future life, so I kept it. Jiang Xiaobai continued to act stupid. Can you show it to me? Here. The elixir flew into Ao Yan's hand. Ao Yen felt it carefully and could indeed feel the extremely mysterious aura, and the spiritual energy contained in it was so terrifying. This is indeed a rare panacea, but she really didn't know what to do. Finally, after frowning in place for a moment, he returned the 9 turns golden pill to Jiang Xiaobai. No, just take it. Maybe it will be used when there is really nothing you can do. Jiang Xiaobai said with a smile. After saying that, he ignored Ao Yan's stunned expression and walked away. At the same time, he was secretly happy in his heart, so good at trying to catch him. It's not that easy to make people believe in him, but he believes that this 9 transformations golden pill will definitely play a very important role when the time comes. Time flew by like this, and it was night. The dinner was held at the Dragon Palace. Jiang Xiaobai thought he could see Ao Qing here, but he didn't show up. Not many people came, but they were all the top people among the younger generation in Long Valley. Among them was Ao Tianheng. Ao Tianheng was sitting in his seat, staring at Jiang Xiaobai with unshaded eyes. Hey, isn't this the famous mortal prince-in-law of our Dragon Valley? A strange voice came from the door. The person who came was a beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure and a curvy figure. Ao Xuanhuan. Ao Yen narrowed his eyes and spoke coldly. The other party did not restrain himself because of Ao Yan's warning, but instead laughed more sarcastically. Kakik, what's wrong, Princess Aoyan? Because of your willfulness, don't you know how many people Long Gu lost this time? You dare to do it, but you still don't dare to let others tell you. Ao Xuanhuan's face was full of disdain, and she sat directly opposite Ao Yen. Ao Yen, on the other hand, sat with a frosty face, his whole body exuding a coldness that no strangers could enter. After sitting down, Ao Xuanhuan looked at Jiang Xiaobai again. Although he looks good, he is a human waste after all. You don't know what is going on in someone's mind. Even if you are being unreasonable under the pampering of your elders every day, you should have a sense of proportion in such embarrassing things. Ao Xuanhuan sneered and said, even if you find a pig demon, at least the other party has some cultivation, and it will be much better than immortal. These words are truly vicious to the extreme. He actually said that Jiang Xiaobai couldn't even compare to the pig demon. At that moment he couldn't bear it anymore. Are all the women of the dragon clan so vulgar? They open their mouths and say nothing. Are you a waste compared to Ao Yen? Jiang Xiaobai sneered. You bastard, is this a place where you, a mortal, can talk? Ao Shinran exploded directly. Ao Yen, take care of your dog. Grandpa Zhu can let him come to the dinner party, which is enough to give you face. Don't give up face. If you dare to speak rudely again, believe it or not, I will chop off your mouth. How dare you? Ao Yen snorted coldly, and his aura burst out. Even if Jiang Xiaobai is no longer useful, he is still her consort of Ao Yen, and it is not the turn of an outsider to slander him. Feeling the terrifying aura on Ao Yen's body, Ao Shinran's face suddenly turned red. After she realized that she was frightened by Ao Yen, her eyes were full of resentment. Ao Yen, you are just relying on Grandpa Yozu to pamper you. The eldest young master of the ancient clan will come to Longu in less than a month. I'll see what you say then. Longu and the ancient tribe have already made an engagement. You are so presumptuous that you are simply causing trouble for Longu, Ao Shinran said coldly. It has nothing to do with you. Ao Yen said. It doesn't matter. Once something happens, it will be a battle between two forces. You have a tough mouth. Do you know what kind of losses Longu will suffer this time? The eldest young master of the ancient clan has already reached half-step of integration cultivation. You can continue to do whatever you want. When the time comes, the ancient clan will threaten you. I think you how to die. Ao Shinran snorted sarcastically. As she said that, she looked at Jiang Xiaobai again. It is estimated that by then, your captive mortal pet will die miserably. You will cry for it. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere in the Dragon Palace dropped to freezing point. Many young talents in the Dragon Valley frowned, and Ao Yan's face was as cold as frost. At this time, a dull voice came. I finally know what the difference is between you and Ao Yan. Compared with her, you are really a waste.